Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the EntreMusician podcast. My name is DARRELL LOONEY, and as you know, I like to talk about song metadata and registering song metadata and handling the administrative side of your getting your royalties and just overall getting paid. Another piece of key metadata information that you need to have registered in the databases is what's called the ISNI number, which is the International Standard Name Identifier. Okay, this is another key piece of song metadata that you need to have registered in the ISNI database, because it is an international database. And that's what's going to help you collect what are called neighboring rights royalties. Putting everything together, neighboring rights royalties are those royalties that are generated in countries where you don't reside. Okay, so for the US, that's going to be all of those European radio stations and Asian radio stations and Australian radio stations. All of these places which stream your music and generate royalties for you, having your song metadata registered in this database will help them identify you as the person to be paid the royalties for those streams and radio airplay. So let's just dive right into this. The ISNI, or the International Standard Name Identifier, it's an international standard that's used by various libraries, publishers, music databases, and rights management organizations throughout the world to allow them to identify you as the rights holder for those streams and radio airplay that you're getting internationally. Again, this is an identifier that is put into a database where these organizations can identify you, but again, these are not in your own home country. They are for areas that are not where you live. Okay, so this helps to fill in for the missing piece that you are missing when you look for royalties from your performing rights organization and royalties from your catalog management or your publisher management company. And these are the rights and or royalties that may fall through the cracks, in other words. Okay, it's very important to get yourself in these databases for that exact reason, but also it creates validity for you to argue to say, hey, I'm getting a lot of streams and airplay in XYZ location. Why don't I try to get gigs over there to try and participate in their shows and festivals and, presentations for my genre of music? Why not? Expanded audience, expanded audience interactions, expansion on your audience email lists, so that when you are releasing music, you may not just want to release it in your home location. You may want to release it worldwide to be more effective, or you may just want to target certain areas with certain releases depending on genre or time of the year, topic of the release, or what have you. Well, making sure that you are registered in this database will help you to have the tools necessary to make sure that you garner royalties that are earned from participating in these locations where you don't necessarily reside. Okay? So, looking at this situation, how is it that you get into it? The first step really is to search whether or not you are already in the database. Okay, so looking at their site, Why do you want to search whether or not you are in their database? Well, in order to get into their database in the first place, you need to be entered into the database by one of these ISNI registration agencies. Okay? And it's a good thing that these folks are out there because you may utilize certain services and they may register you as a creative entity in this database so you could already be there. Okay? But you have to have one of these ISNI registration agencies to enter your information into their database in order to be able to get there. Yes, you can utilize this site to register and get one yourself, but it really is much more effective if you utilize one of the ISNI registration agencies so that they can validate your information independently and help make sure that you are identified correctly and entered into the system correctly. But again, you do have the option to do it yourself or have your manager or whoever is handling your administrative portions of your music business. They can do it for you. Again, the cheat code is to have the ISNI registration agencies do it for you. And there are several of them around the world who can definitely help you with this. Okay? So to find out whether or not you need to utilize one of these ISNI registration agencies in the first place, the first step that you want to take is to utilize their search database to see if you are there. So let me go ahead and enter the name of my own creative entity. And I will do a search and see what we get. Ta-da! And it comes up. Okay, I'm in the database. Okay, now that I know this, I can get a hold of my ISNI number, okay, and my personal link for their system, right? And I can put that into my digital database so that it's available to me whenever I need to look it up. Okay, that is a unique number for me as a creative entity. So each person or each group will need to have that. If I decide to release recordings under a different name, then it's important that either this ISNI is tied back to me or I get a new one tied to that particular creative entity. Okay? So with that in mind, I'm happy to know that I have an ISNI, and my source was MUBZ, which is Music Brains. Okay, now I want to share about this company, Music Brains, because really they are an absolute cheat code when it comes to ISNI registration. You're going to see that in just a moment. Actually, let's go ahead, jump over to their site, and you'll see exactly why. Now, this has taken me over to Music Brains, where I have registered some of my songs in their database for what they do. Well, what is Music Brains, you ask? They are a very cool and useful site for encoding song metadata into various audio files. WAV files, MP3s, OGG files. Let's go to their main page so that you can see the different things that they provide. It's really awesome. I like to go over to their products and MP3 tagger. Okay, their MP3 tagger for Windows as well as Mac is very powerful because, like I was saying, it has the ability to do tag editing and embed the metadata you need to have registered in all of the databases. They have the ability to embed that into the audio file. Look at all of the different audio files that they'll do. MP3, MP4, M4V, FLAC, OGG, Opus, AIF, DSF, MPC, and WAV files. This is amazing because now not only can you embed this information in your audio files so that you'll have it for DJs to access, radio stations to access, right? You notice sometimes the digital stream providers will strip off the metadata that you put on the files in order to make the files compatible with their systems. That's fine. That's why you're going to register your metadata in all the databases. Okay. But for this piece, for the DJs, for podcasters, for radio broadcasters, music enthusiasts, and other people who want to have your metadata at their fingertips, this is perfect. And as an unexpected benefit to doing this process, Music Brains will submit your data to the ISNI database. And we just saw how that happened with me. So that works out very well. It is a major 2-for-1 or even 3-for-1, if you will, just because of all of the capabilities of all of this. Okay? And it's free. Did I mention that? I didn't mention that. Well, I'm mentioning it now. This is a free service. You can donate. I think they used to call it donateware, the terminology, because it's a software program that you can download onto your PC or your Mac, but they function off of donations. So consider that given all of the benefits that these folks will offer to you. So let's jump back over to the ISNI website again. And we see where utilizing the Music Brain system that I have done has allowed them to enter my information into the ISNI database. And that really is the easiest way to do it because I needed to have the song metadata information embedded into my files and to have that sent off to the various radio stations. So at the time I was doing that and entering everything, at the same time, these guys are submitting my information to the ISNI database. So that kind of kills two birds with one stone. And again, that is like a really awesome cheat code for getting this done. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to share that with everyone as a piece of information that you can utilize to further make sure that you are identified as the rights owner and the person to be paid for your streams and your radio airplay in countries and scenarios that are not where you live, i.e. the neighboring rights royalties. Okay? Expanding out your reach, expanding out your ability to recoup your royalties worldwide. That's what we're all about. Okay? So as soon as you get a chance, check this out. It's a very key piece of your administrative back end work that needs to be done. Let's get that metadata registered. Okay? You guys know that that's what I'm all about. So again, my name is Darrell Looney. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. Thank you for tuning in to this brief episode of the EntreMusician. but I wanted to make sure that you cats had all of this information put together in one place so that you could jump on, get this taken care of real quick, and be good to go. Thank you very much, and next time.